Part 2 of this installment of Poet to Poet features Joseph DeRoche.
That's right.
Over here. Let's see.
Only
Published.
Joe.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing a lot of Joes lately. Published in Yankee, Compost. Now, there's a combination for you. Kaleidograph, NU Writer, Spectrum, Beloit, Poetry Journal, The Lyric. A lot of good stuff here. New York Quarterly, Northeastern Today. I want to have leave time for the poetry, so I'm not going to read all the titles. In a couple of anthologies, Contemporary French Poetry, University of Michigan Press. You're writing French, too?
Translation. I was doing the translation.
Order and Diversity of Wiley and Sons. Well, if you only had sons, how diverse could he be? Workshop Poets Anthology of the Stone Soup Gallery. A writing fellow at the University of Iowa. Poet in the schools. A New Hampshire Commission on the Arts. Did a lot of teaching. Northeastern University. I'm getting mixed up there. Let's see. Creative Writing, Poetry Workshop. Contemporary Modern English, and American Poetry and Literature. This is all at Northeastern University.
That's right.
Okay. Read at the University of Iowa, University of Missouri, University of Massachusetts at Boston, Juilliard, York University of Toronto, Canada, Northeastern University, I would hope, University of Maine. Got pointers from Robert Lowell and Ann Sexton and Mark Strand and a lot of fascinating people. And I swear I didn't know this when we started taping, but he was the judge of the 1997 Newburyport Art Association Poetry Contest that Len here won, and the staff kind of sprung that on me without letting me know this. So it's not a conflict of interest or anything like that. I mean, I didn't know. It's not my fault. Blame the staff. Anyway, Joe, welcome to Poet, and save my integrity by giving us a poem.
Sure. I'll start off with one called The Magic Show. Mm-hmm. We're all assembled for the magic act. Children rustle in the first 3 rows. Glamour's about to break the neck of fact. We grown-ups who understand such shows huddle cheerfully far in the back, although a little apprehension grows. Confetti may shower down like golden flak, and our illusions might fly out of hand faster than the eyes know reassuring tack. But the magician catapults his wand, parts the curtain, and boisterous applause pours dry champagne from a carafe of sand. An elephant floats buoyantly like gauze, becomes a cloud, then 2, then sails off, and we are smiling, all of us, whatever was. The lady, whom he elegantly saws in half, vanishes stage right and left, clean out of sight, leaving behind a disheveled and disembodied laugh. She reassembles in her rhinestone tights and shimmers earthward from the flats above. Then out of his hat he pulls a chip of light, which flung now up in air becomes a dove. Our clapping shatters it to stars that move into each grown-up eye, one tear for love, whose loss, like magic, we are frightened of.
You know, if you ever come down to New York City, especially Lower Manhattan, and you stay at some of these opens past 2 in the morning, you'll start seeing the same sort of stuff, and it's not magic. It's chemistry, as a matter of fact. Let's see. You did a magic show. Len did a Houdini, as I recall. Do I detect a theme developing here?
It has to do something, I suppose, with poets think that poetry is magical, or it's as close to magic as we can get. Mm-hmm. To take those words and twist them into something else. Okay. You know, those 2 things. Is a poem an utterance, or is it an object?
Well, the closest I ever come to magic is every week I make my paycheck disappear. But
I do that too.
But I have a lot of help with that. What else do you write about?
Here's the point. You remember those times when you used to be able to take your leaves outside and be able to burn them that we can't do any longer?
Well, actually, I live in an apartment, so it's tricky. But
well, even here you used to be able to do it. We can't do it anymore. Everything gets bagged up.
Right.
And I started to write this poem about that, but it brought me someplace I didn't expect to go at the end of it. So it's a poem that found itself at the ending.
Okay.
It's called Bagging Autumn Leaves. Some things that come with autumn do not change. Once you felt fall once, you smelled the chill, not feel it. Half-remembered cold seems strange, but green goes gold or red, and leaving spill a paper rustle across the driveway and the lawn. As ever, we rake leaves up the same, and feel the weight each gathers as we pull upon the pile we lumber when we haul the reel. Years past, my father and I made a mound. We took a match and turned the leaves to flame. A smoke and incense fumed the neighborhood around. Like sacrifice, we immolated every year the same. I smell those years' burnt spice. My father's dead. I did not wrap him greenly up when I let go, but like the leaves the trees obscenely shed, I carried him in smoke and ash to snow.
Is that what you do with your leaves?
Not anymore. We bag them out. You got to bag them out. We got to recycle everything. We're recycling the world. We got to recycle ponds.
What do I do with my leaves? I bag them up and I don't write poems that good.
Ah.
Oh, yes, you do.
Listen, he's the judge.
Well, that was a marvelous poem.
It was too. What I like to do back in New York City is I will sneak into the park, bag the leaves, and then sell them to gourmet shops as salad. So I make a few dollars on the side there. Let's see. Oh, you have Villanelle coming up.
Yeah, would you like to hear the Villanelle?
Sure. Do you write them often?
I went on a Villanelle roll.
Okay.
I got hooked on them and I couldn't get off them. It was unbelievable. Every once in a while you get into this form and it just carried me away.
The spell of the Villanelle. Huh?
And now you can change them. So, all right.
Okay.
Didactic Villanelle.
Yeah.
We know some things that we intend to do. We mean to love. We mean to write, to call. But we are busy and the love falls through. Oh, what the hell, the words we speak are true. We didn't have the time. That's it. That's all. We know some things, what we intend to do. The right thing all the time. We know that too, we're late and true, half the time forgetful. Well, we are busy and the love falls through. Time strikes, we know, like fists in black and blue with guilt, with hangdog shame, we're sorrowful. We know some things. What we intend to do in love grows cold, but it was meant for you. When the spring I rose to meet you in turned fall, why was I busy? Why did my love fall through? I'll take the phone, lift it, dial, call. I'll tell you what time's meant to me. I'll crawl to you in time with things I'd meant to do. But we are busy, and the love falls through.
Stylish.
Well, thanks. What I tried to do was to twist the line so that each little line, the Villanelle, is slightly off what the other one was, so it can build to a climax and not just keep going round and round the same thing.
When you do your teaching, and you've done a lot of it, do you offer your students form?
I offer them both. I mean, you know, we got the poetry wars out there. We got the people on the left and the people on the right. We got the formalists. We've got the free verse people. I say, you know, if it's a poem, it's a poem. It makes it. And so I'm sort of in the middle.
Okay. What does make a poem then?
Oh boy, what makes a poem? I think partly it's you, but and your relationship to the fish. Sure, you're gonna like poems that I might not quite like, or vice versa. But for me, it's some kind of finish that you know the poet had to abandon the poem.
Yeah.
He or she couldn't go any more with it. It was just done, and it makes the little hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Sometimes, at best.
You want to see mine right about now listening to these two. It's good stuff. Sometimes it's Finnish, sometimes it's Swedish, sometimes it's anything. How about making some more of our hairs on the back of our neck stand up?
You got time for a poem about, well, you asked what makes a poem. I've got a poem that says what I
Okay.
think about what makes a poem. It's called Poem. Every poet writes a poem called Poem at some
I
point.
never got around to it somehow.
Now's your chance.
I'll make notes.
To make this work, you must never remember what a poem is once you have seen one. You will lose the address, misplace the number. What the poem sounds like matters not, since you went deaf years ago. Only a dull ringing like a phone at the rear of the house fills up the background of your life. You've nearly succeeded importantly in getting rid of the poem. Finally, burn the notes you made at the time. Burn the notes you made to remember what was going on at the time. Bag up the message. That was the least of it anyway. Let go of the transport. Forget where you buried the damn thing. Now I can start clean with this stupid smile on my face and my dumb eyes. Start simply with a sound, a ping, pong, bit, biff, bang about a bit. Add a rhythmically repetitive rhythm, maybe a metronomical motion, and then say something meaningful about death and dying, or just getting by, with the silken sibilance of the black cat sleeping and purring at the foot of the bed, where armies march every moment into the wedding chapels, where life and living has us by the throat, where we have been born by God. Now, show your sense of wonder. Open your mouth, pucker, go, oh, 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 I am here, I am going, which is a bit like a poem.
And you tell your students that.
Not to their faces.
That's one of those after-hours instructions, I think, that we've all gotten through the course of a career. Do you have any secret, unfulfilled ambitions in terms of poetry?
Yeah, to write a poem that I think is absolutely finished, that I can't tinker with anymore.
That's
and
quite...
then die.
No, you don't want to do that. You have contests to judge. You have classes to teach. You have poems to write. Do you have a little one?
But see, after I do that, do I have a little one?
A little
no,
one.
I don't. I have little poems, but I don't think I have a little one here.
Oh, do you have anything memorized?
Do I have anything memorized? Oh.
While he's looking, did you ever write a poem called Poem?
As a matter of fact, no, but I've been tempted to many times, so Joe is right.
Perhaps Joe will help you with that. And it just so happens I have a little one.
You read it.
Is it called Poem?
Yeah.
No, it's not, as a matter of fact. It's not even by me. It's in my book, Zenyatta's in Bondage. And it's by my friend Triolette Trevor. He writes triolettes. It's called Locked Out. I locked myself out of my apartment again. I think this is only the third time this week. Somebody rang my doorbell and ran, and then I locked myself out of my apartment again. I think I left my keys, like so many good men, in a medicine chest while shaving my cheek. I locked myself out of my apartment again. I think this is only the third time this week. That's Triolette Trevor. Joe, maybe you could explain something for our audience. Triolette is only 8 lines, and some of the lines repeat.
Right.
Why is that?
Why do they repeat?
Yeah.
Well, that's like life. Why does life repeat?
Because we don't know the words?
I think so. It's not a dress rehearsal. They keep telling me
That's
this.
certainly true. Len, maybe you have an answer for that.
I wish I did. I suspect it has something to do with the age of the form, the fact that most of these forms we're talking about are French, and probably they begin in song with a single syllable, and sounds and rhymes keep recurring, and that suggests the idea of a refrain.
I guess we'll have to leave that for another show.
That's a great theory, then.
Thank you, Len Krizak. Thank you, Joseph DeRoche, for coming on Poet to Poet, and I'm Robert Dunn, and I have to disappear now, but you'll be back next time. I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.